Wednesday, May 3rd. Monday was the 1st, Tuesday was the 2nd, Wednesday is the 3rd. It just kind of fits really nicely in a row. I hope you had a good hump day. Wow, I'm on time. The City Hall clock is chiming 7. Eastern time, that is. Hello, hello, hello. The first person in the chat is a Michael. Hi, Michael. And these are my crooked glasses, and I don't like crooked glasses, so hang on. I have to find glasses that aren't crooked. Okay. Just talk to Betty and Betty the Bunny. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. These aren't crooked. Tell me how your day went, how you doing. The moon is in, today all day the moon has been in Libra. Nice balanced day. Barbara's here. Everybody's showing up. Interesting times we live in. I know that they caught the Texas murderer, the shooter, which is interesting because I got that he wasn't going to be alive, but that wasn't the case. The pendulum, sometimes I'm thinking the pendulum reads the energy of the person, which was obviously extremely negative. And I'm still sort of adapting to that about the pendulum. Anyway, and then today there's a shooting in Atlanta, and then we just had Ari Melber on. I think I caught most of the show, and if you had MSNBC on, they didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about that there is a shooter on the loose in Atlanta, and it really is, the whole thing is over the top concerning, and he didn't talk about it. Oh yeah, about the pendulum. Barbara's saying maybe he's emotionally dead. Here's something that I've noticed with the pendulum, just on that topic. I have read before, and I've noticed the pendulum very consistently gives me a negative when I'm reading on somebody who's very negative. So I might need to be more specific. I might have to change the question around, because I got from the pendulum that the shooter in Texas would not be alive, but apparently he is. Oh, you just made my day, Kathy, says the greatest psychic in the world. I like to think so. Very experienced. I promised I'd bring out the teacup, so I have my Assam tea going. I have my jacket on because even though it's May, it's been really cold. It's been really damp where I am. And Patty's here and she loves the show. Thank you. It's been really damp, but it's going to warm up next week. All right. I'm going to read the tea leaves, and I'm going to start with the Rider-Waite reading on, let's see, pick a topic, any topic. Let's start with Trump and the situation with E. Jean Carroll, with that trial. Let's start there. Apparently, the woman who worked for, was it People magazine? Well, this jacket's so funny. This is the oldest jacket in the world, and the zipper's kind of broken. And it's from Ocean City, New Jersey. My brother used to live in New Jersey. And on that trip, I went to Atlantic City, New Jersey, and that was a year that I for the only time ever I've seen a Trump piece of real estate. That's the one that they blew up, I think. Did kind of a lottery or a raffle to see who got to like blow up the Trump building in Atlantic City. So this is from Ocean City, New Jersey, which is kind of close. So it's appropriate that I'm reading on Trump right now, but I think it was a woman who worked for People magazine that lots of solar flares hitting us. I didn't know about that. Maybe we'll take a look at what that's causing. I did have some quirky stuff happen on the internet today. So the woman who testified today, besides Eugene Carroll, we'll get to the Supreme Court too. They played the Access Hollywood tape for the jury. There's no way you can look at this case and say, oh, Donald Trump, he didn't do anything wrong. And absolutely not. So just to hear the stories of what these women went through is just, oh my gosh, it's really awful. He's not putting on a defense. He doesn't have a defense. I mean, the defense would be to just completely lie, which that's not a defense. So this woman, apparently, I was just reading about it. This woman, I didn't write down her name, who was also assaulted by Trump. They were walking through Mar-a-Lago, and she was interviewing Trump and Melania. That was the plan about their first-year wedding anniversary. So on the first-year wedding anniversary of Trump and Melania, an interviewer is there getting ready to do the interview when he lures her into a room and says, well, I want to show you this room, and then sexually assaults her. And that's all on display in the hearing. The facts are all on display, and I mean, they are facts. If you're a woman, you know about this stuff, right? More than maybe a man would know. Well, experientially, I mean. And then they played the Access Hollywood tape, which I remember when that got played for the first time, like I'm sure we all remember, and we were like, no way, it's over for him, he will never, this is going to knock him out of the race, and he won't win anything. And lo and behold, that's when Russia decided to meddle in our election. And you remember Hillary Clinton at that debate said right to the camera, he's Putin's puppet. Do we all remember that? You were there. So as far as this hearing goes, I mean, I did post a picture of Trump, what the heck? I mean, that totals the Scotland trip and him, cutting the ribbon for a new golf course. It's like, well, that's totally out of left field. All of a sudden, amidst all the hoopla, he's going to Scotland to cut the ribbon and, pose with the shovel and the stupid wool hat in Scotland. I have people that have been commenting that that Scotland's really mad at Trump because he doesn't pay his bills, which that is infuriating. While all this is going on, that's what he's doing. So we're going to look at, we're doing the Rider-Waite deck. 3 cards about this trial and Trump. Have you guys been following all this? It's insane. It's insane, I tell you. It just keeps getting more insane. And we're just going to pull 3 cards about this trial. And he won't show up. And I did say when I read on it the other day that it would be over quickly and he would totally lose. Totally lose. Trump is totally losing. He's losing any semblance of a reputation that he might have a shred of decency, which I never thought he ever had a shred of decency. But anyway, this kind of is a nail in the coffin for him in terms of being like credible or having any doubts in your mind about him. Well, this seals it. It's going to make it very clear. And so this is pointing to, after this trial, he'll be known as a factual rapist. He's definitely, this is about hiding. This is about him hiding. And this is the 8 of Wands, means that this trial is going to come to a fast end. So they had been saying possibly tomorrow, Thursday, but I think it's going to be Monday. Is that what you guys saw? Are you guys keeping up, or are you tuning into me to get the news? I don't have the specifics, but I think it's Monday. That will be the last Okay, pendulum, oh pendulum, you're just going to tell me if indeed there's a hearing scheduled for Monday. Is it scheduled for Monday? Looks like it's scheduled for Monday. I'm not sure. I didn't get the deets on that. Oh, somebody's posting palm trees and, wait. Palm trees and what else are you posting up there? Oh, the compensatory for Trump when he loses his... Who will pay the compensatory for Trump when he loses in his various trials? He rolled out his own red carpet after arriving in Scotland, and I got that he hired those bagpipe players. The compensatory for Trump when he loses in his various trials. He doesn't pay. He doesn't pay his bills. That's why I was talking about. Because I see that being pushed off. I don't know how he can do that in terms of the payout. I see some sort of long-term delay. Let's read about that. Let's read about how he's going to pay out. I don't know how much he's asking for in damages. I actually, my mind was really on the Atlanta shooting today, and it was hard to pay attention to the other news, and I have a problem with certain news networks barely covering that there's a shooter on the loose, and we have an absolute crisis going on in America right now. Oh, you're saying hi from the beach in Delaware? Can't be very warm there, is it? It's not warm here. It's been 50s, low 50s all week. But I'm going to Maine next week, and it's going to be a gorgeous week, and I'm so happy. I'll still be doing my videos. So who's going to pay the damages in the rape case? It's going to be a heavy, heavy, heavy burden for him. 60s is better. Yeah, it's going to be like that next week. Can lawsuit judgments be used to put liens on properties? I don't even look like a lawyer. I don't know, but I have a feeling yes. MAGA GOP will pay. It's a lot of money, and I feel his support. Even though you might not believe it, because you do see on the news what's highlighted is the reddest of the red, the MAGA people with the hats and everything. I do feel like his support is sliding right now. A lot of it is just people just kind of going quiet. So rather than being like protesting Trump, it's more like there are a lot of people that are just, that had supported him, that are just kind of gone mum right now. This is going to wipe Trump out. This trial is going to kind of wipe him out. He's got no energy left. He's pretending. Oh, just wondering if H. Carroll will own Mar-a-Lago. I see Mar-a-Lago being bought by a big company. And Mar-a-Lago strikes me as being in kind of a flood zone. Hello, California. Janet? I kind of feel the company taking over Mar-a-Lago. I don't think he's... Wait, let's ask this. Is this settlement... Has anyone heard an amount that H. Carroll is anticipating winning in the settlement, or whatever happens there, or whatever you call it, when he has to pay damages? Does anyone know how much she's looking for? Let us see. Okay, so does he have a way to pay the damages? No, I'm getting no, he does not have a way to pay. No way he can pay. No way he can pay. So what happens then? Will he get to delay the payment that he has to make? He'll get to delay it. Yeah, I'm getting a really strong yes on that. There's a delay in the payout. Well, that's not good. I want better news than that. It's a huge burden for him. Definitely there's going to be some kind of a finding by Monday. Oh, is the GOP paying Trump's legal bills? No, I get that. I don't feel like it's direct. I don't feel like the GOP, which I call the POF, the Party of Fascists, I don't feel like they're, do you mean personally? I feel like he has big money donors. But it's not like senators and you know, the loser fascists. It's not them. Is his money going to come from not from the GOP? Is his money going to come from billionaire donors? It's going around in a circle. It hasn't been decided. I think the donors, the big billionaire type donors, yeah, like dark money and all that, I'm not, they haven't decided. Oh, it's an undisclosed amount. Thank you for letting me know that. It's an undisclosed amount. I feel like it's like in the 300 to, I'm getting 350, what was Letitia James asking for? Was it 200? It was it's a quarter of a million, right around a quarter of a million. That's what I feel like around the E. Jean Carroll case. Around that amount. Is Trump going to, is he going to get money from his dark money sources? No. I feel like he's going to do some, you know how he finagles things, some you know, sidestepping and skipping around and like saying he'll pay it but not pay it, which I don't know how he could get away with that. And now I need to look. 250 million. Yeah, I'm getting around the 300 million. Right around 300 million. She asked for around that amount. That woman has really suffered. I mean, it derailed her life. 250 million. So right around that is what I feel like E. Jean Carroll has asked for. And she'll get it. It looks like she'll get what she's asking for monetarily. It just looks like he has ways of, not that he's not going to pay it. I don't feel like the pendulum's being clear about whether dark money sources, they're starting to question they're starting to question how worth it is. Like, these big money donors for Trump, there's a lot of questioning around whether this guy is worth it. That's what I'm picking up. Is he worth it? And that's why the pendulum's kind of going around in a circle, because it's like it hasn't really been determined whether enough dark money sources have come around to say, yeah, we'll help him out. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the money. How many times have I said that man is broke? Okay, so you may have just shown up. I'm not picking up that the GOP is going to pay him anything. I'm not picking up that the dark money sources are very interested in continuing to back him. Yes, he'll try to pursue bankruptcy. That makes sense. That actually makes sense. Because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a sidestepping having to pay, which bankruptcy makes sense. It doesn't seem like he would be able to. It doesn't. Yeah. Well, Maryland. Yeah, I didn't see the GOP covering his butt with the E. Jean Carroll case. It's questionable whether the dark money sources will step in, because they're not thinking that it would be worth it. How do you have enough money to fly to Scotland? What Trump does is it's like he passes the money around. He does deals and he makes promises, and you know, I didn't read The Art of the Deal. I don't know if it's in there though, his tactics. but that book was a bunch of hooey too. But I just get the sense of he passes the money around and he makes promises that he'll pay back. That's the kind of thing I see happening here. But the thing that makes the most sense, one of the chatters up there mentioned he could declare he declare bankruptcy, and I do get that. But can you get out of court that way? Can you get out of making a payment, a settlement? I'm in over my head because I'm not a lawyer, right? And all the laws in the different states are different. Florida allows a creditor to file a judgment lien certificate with the Department of State. The filing is not, but this is New York. The filing is not required, but it can be an important factor in recovering your debt. Yeah, but we're talking about New York. So confusing. Especially when I don't know about how the law works, and then here I am in my psychic brain trying to use left brain logic, legal logic that I don't have. So I'm just telling you the feeling that I get is it's going to be huge. She's going to win. He's not going to be able to pay it. He's going to delay it. He's going to delay paying it. Finally, colder autumn in Australia. Oh, okay. In Australia, it must be tomorrow, right? Tomorrow morning. How's tomorrow going so far? We're reading tea leaves. DA asked the judge to put a gag order on Trump. It will be decided this Thursday. I did predict that. I said I definitely saw a gag order. Are they calling it a gag order? His retirement is paid by taxpayers for the rest of his life. Not so fast, Joanne. I don't see it. And so I'd have to know the laws around that too. I don't see his retirement being paid by taxpayers for the rest of his life. I don't see that. I see a wrench in the works there. Will Trump's retirement be paid by taxpayers for the rest of his earthly existence? I'm getting a no. So we got some homework to do. Happy Thursday, Australia. I don't know if you could hear that wind behind me, but boy, it's howling. Interesting stuff. I mean, because, okay, so now I'm wondering if he's a convicted felon and is held accountable for seditious conspiracy or inciting an insurrection, or there must be a law, from what I'm picking up, there must be a law that he doesn't get paid retirement, taxpayer funded retirement because he's a criminal. Oh gosh, I need like Joyce Vance here or something. I'm in too deep. I'm in over my head, people, with the legal thing. Can they garnish pensions or anything? I have an angry wind howling outside. I don't know if you can hear, but it's been like, you know, it's May. You think, oh, I can dress like a little for the warmer weather a little bit. I should have my down jacket out. Wait, okay, what was that question you just asked? Can they garnish pensions? Can they garnish his pension? That's a yes. Okay. All right, you guys are smart. You're smarter than me. Here's to being smarter than me, especially with this. Let's call Ben Meiselas. Good idea. I bet you anything. You gotta hand it to the Midas touch, the Midas mighty, the Midas brothers, you know, and all their hosts. If you're wondering and you go to Midas Touch, they always cover it. And honestly, I'm so frustrated with mainstream news, of which I only watch MSNBC, and there's some pretty good anchors on MSNBC. But I mean, we are in, just, you know, switching topics a little bit, but it's all connected. We are in a crisis in the United States. We are in a really, really tough place with the gun violence, and that is not highlighted in the news. That they spend, kind of cold in New York, yeah, kind of cold in Massachusetts too. they spend most of the program. It's fine. Cover the Trump, cover it. But don't ignore the fact that Americans are traumatized by thinking about going to Walmart or to school or to college or to a game or to really anywhere USA, or even be home, or even take a wrong turn in a driveway, or even go to the wrong house when you're looking for. It's gone to, go to the doctor's office, and we are in an emergency. So the news is not making this first and foremost the top story. Yeah, see, we're still talking about Trump. No problem, I'll get to that too. But I'm just saying that the news is not making this the most important story in the news, that Americans aren't out protesting. Like, I just have to laugh. In France, Macron, not that I agree with it, but he's raising the retirement age in France, and they are out in the streets, and they've been protesting, and they're really, really upset, and they won't let up, and it's like, and we have to live with fear of guns, and you're not safe anywhere these days, and we're not doing anything about it, and I'm just really concerned that we've kind of lost our standing, and there's a lot that we're going to look at tonight. We'll fit it all in. But wow, and we've reached a point maybe where the news isn't covering it, because we can look at that. It's an absolute emergency that we're in, so I have the end gun violence sign here. It's like, we need to remember. And you can't really fathom unless you've been through it, and I've met people who have lost loved ones to guns. You can't imagine just, here I am at the grocery store. I was at the grocery store today. Here I'm at the grocery store, and maybe with my dad, maybe you take an elderly parent to the grocery store, and gosh, if I was in a red state, I'd be really, really, really even more nervous. There was an article of a young lady sitting in her house. She was shot in her private area. Really? See, I didn't even hear about that. Was that today? No. Yeah, it really is. We can't not talk about this. So, anyway, since I'm on the topic, I'm gonna pull some cards. I do definitely feel it to the point where all the American people, except people that are just irrational and unreasonable and kind of have terrorist tendencies, it's getting to the point where so many people want gun reform. Oh my gosh, it's a terrible, terrible story. See, guns everywhere. It's getting to the point, I really feel, where, because a huge segment of the population want at least red flag laws or something. Hang on a second. We have had enough. Third graders have to learn how to use a tourniquet. Yeah. So it's gotten to the state of just like, this is pathos. This is insanity. But I think 85 to 90% of the American people want gun reform. We want laws. We want something done. And there's people in the chat right now telling stories about gun incidents that sound horrible that we haven't even heard about. Tax bullets, money. I do feel a level of fury, and you probably, when we think about what Greg Abbott said after that heinous situation where the guy just walked into the house and executed the people in the house, it's straight out crazy. The poor EMTs and the trauma people and the surgeons and everything, you can't imagine. At the very least, ban assault weapons. I have heard the states are taking action. The states are starting to pass laws, but I feel a level of fury, and their sheriff in Texas after, you know, Greg Abbott said something about, well, they were illegal immigrants, and we talked about it the other night, that was his response to Uvalde while that was going on. I get that very clearly, Greg Abbott. And the sheriff was beside himself. He's thinking about that boy who ended up dying, 8, 9 years old. Yeah, and it's that it's gotten to this point where it's a daily thing. And whenever I think about DeFascist in Florida, and whenever I think about Greg Abbott, I literally see them, like, if you can just imagine in your mind, they're in the center in this pool of guns, just in this sea of guns. Oh, Betty, it's beyond Abbott doesn't care. Abbott is a sadist. Abbott enjoys it's beyond doesn't care. I just want you to get this. It's beyond he doesn't care. Doesn't care is like, I just want to explain it. Doesn't care is like, I'm not going to think about that. No. With Abbott, it's like, oh, good, let them suffer. And which reminds me that we're going to talk about Tucker Carlson and was it a text message? Yeah, I believe it was a text message. When Tucker Carlson realized, for a second at least, that his thoughts were going to, we'll get to this, that he enjoyed the idea of white men killing a young man. I remember with the Derek Chauvin and George Floyd situation, Tucker Carlson was on the cop's side. So it's beyond doesn't care. It's deliberately wanting to see suffering. George predicted okay, I'm not going to read that. I faded away because I want to just see what I get. Some of us are supposed to know what another psychic got, but I don't want that to affect what I am reading here. So I'm going to pick 3. I mean, I see people like Chris Murphy and Beto O'Rourke, and I just see a lot of senators and people. What are you saying about assassination? I just see people really, really steamed up right now, really in a fury. Let's see. I don't predict assassinations. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up. I didn't even have to say anything. Thank you, I appreciate that. So we're pulling 3 cards on, are we going to see anything? Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Tucker Carlson, exactly what I'm saying. He found himself really, really lusting to see, to bear witness to 3 guys ganging up on a small guy and murdering him. Lisa, that's not very specific. I mean, several psychics have said something big was going to happen May 5th, 6th. Well, you could say that about any day, right? Anyhow. Well, so I'm asking about what's going to happen. And the Justice card is coming up, which means laws will happen. But honest to God, people. We're going on a quarter of a century of doing nothing about guns. We're going on a quarter of a century of doing nothing about gun violence. Somebody was shooting, you called the police in Texas, nobody came. Pray a lot. The Justice card means, see, and what I'm feeling is I feel about 85% of the American people in a fury about this and not not standing for nothing being done. Laws will happen. I have the justice card when I'm asking about this. This is 25 years of gun massacres. I was doing the math today since Columbine. You heard one guest say it sounds like Tucker was prepping for a show. Yeah, and I have been talking about that there's never been a time where demonstrating love has been more direly needed. Never. So it looks like, this is about, 25 years of gun massacres. Oh my God. And the Justice card indicates that laws will happen. And the Ace of Wands, it's the messaging is going to make a big difference. I have seen the NRA losing money, bleeding money, excuse the pun, but they just have so much of it. And I've always seen a connection to the Kremlin. With the NRA, I've always seen psychically, yeah, Kathy, it's absolutely true. I've always seen a connection to the Kremlin with the guns. Which makes sense, because when you really put all the pieces together, the Kremlin would want America to be divided and violent and killing each other, right? And so it's the most vulnerable that are the most mentally unstable that, as a human being, how mad you can get just being a normal person, right? Every normal human has had moments in their lives, if they're a regular human, have had moments in their lives where they felt like they were flying off the handle, right? If somebody tells you they've never felt like flying off the handle or they never flew off the handle, they're not telling you the truth, because it's part of the human condition. But when you get somebody who's mentally not there, maybe they're on psycho drugs and they're prescription grade, right? Their brain is off and really? So Russia, the Kremlin and the NRA, I see connections there. I don't have the facts on that in terms of, I can't point to the books or the articles or the literature about it. But I'm sure I could find it, right? You can find anything nowadays. The connections from the NRA. So the Kremlin, what they want most is America to be divided and very, very, very angry, and that transfers onto the GOP, formerly known as the GOP, now known as the Party of Fascists, the POF, and they're all about, no, we need more guns, because that connection is made stronger. They're answering the call to divide us more. Nobody's listening to me. You're all talking about something else. Anyway, it's okay. I'm just joking. I'm going to pick 3 more cards. Hello. 3 more cards. Let them have guns, stop the bullets. That's not making any sense to me. You listening? I'm just kidding. I know some of you are listening. It's just that I was, in my head about, this is the whole Kremlin connection. All right. I know, we're having a party and everyone's having a conversation. That's great. These cards are way better. Oh, okay. Interesting. Wow. The guides are telling me that as more and more is unearthed about the Kremlin connection to making America divided, make America divided again. That's really what those hats should say, honestly. MADA, make America divided again. I'm feeling that grip loosening, because now I have the the 9 of Cups. I think that's the 10 of Cups. That's the 9 of Cups. You think I just started reading cards. The 9 of Cups, the Strength, and the Queen of Cups. Yeah, this is pointing to, it looks like the Kremlin connection is going to weaken. What's going to make that happen? There's so so much energy. Oh my gosh. The connection from the NRA to the Kremlin is going to weaken. Is that because of Jack Smith's investigation of war crimes? I'm getting a yes on that. I don't know if we'll have that verified, but I do feel like there is an awareness of that tie. And you have to wonder, why would a Ronda-fascist want guns to be easier to get? I mean, think about the amount of safety. Like, think about a long time ago, there was this bouncy thing that little babies, like little toddlers, or, you know, prior to that, before they could really walk, they bouncy in this thing. They took it off the market because kids were falling and they were hurting themselves. Let me see. And they were, you know, they took them off the market. Too bad Russia's going broken. The money will drop. I'm wondering if that's what I'm seeing. And Ron DeFascist wants to build an army and just keep on intending, keep on sending light to break up the darkness. Keep on doing it. Come to 20 on Tuesdays, because Ron DeFascist, with his Russian connections, Christina, what's her name? Pushkow or something? Anyway, he's weakening. Big time. Let's read on him, since I was just mentioning him. By the way, I am going to read the tea leaves. There's a lot going on in Russia right now that's shifting things around. The reason you can't find 20 on Tuesdays is because 20 on Tuesdays, Betty, is a Zoom meeting. And what you do, I'm going to talk slower during my commercial break so you can catch everything. Grassrootsofdemocracy.com. You go to that website, grassrootsofdemocracy.com. I need to put that in my description. Just go there and you can sign. We're going to try reconnecting. I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'm trying reconnecting. I would shut it down and redo it, but it has a hard time. Good now? Yeah, I reconnected. So let's hope it keeps up. Yeah, here's the thing. I just want to say just about technology. Let's just take a little break to talk about the technology. My Wi-Fi is wonky. It's been better. They did a little work on it on the street. It's a little better. We have big wind. Somebody said solar flares. You must have hit the marker with the Russian remarker. I don't know what you're saying, but that's okay. If I go ahead and end the live stream, it doesn't end. I've run into that problem on YouTube, so then I can't come back on. So, fingers crossed. Okay? Fingers crossed. We're still in Mercury retrograde till Mother's Day. Send vibes so my Wi-Fi doesn't disconnect, because I don't want to leave you because it's too much news. Speaking of the teacup, if you were with me on, when did I last read? On Friday. Wait, when I read the tea leaves before, Mother's Day is the 14th. When I read the tea leaves, and you probably remember, I looked, I think it was Friday, and I saw we were going to have news of a death, because I saw a coffin and the bell. You can hear me, that's good. Good. And I didn't get that it was a politician, but I definitely got there was a death. And then lo and behold, on Monday, somebody sent me a message that Gordon Lightfoot had died. Yeah, I saw in the tea leaves that there was going to be a death that was we were going to hear news about. And see, I'm reading the tea leaves and I'm sipping the tea, so that would come up even if you didn't really know Gordon Lightfoot's music. I loved his music. I still love his music. that's what the death was. The legend lives on. No, I can't sing it because YouTube will take me down. But I love his music. Just love his music. I saw him live a couple of times. That was the death. People were like, "Is it Jimmy Carter?" I'm like, "No, it wasn't a politician. I didn't even think about a musician." May he rest in peace. I think Gordon Lightfoot had a lot of pressure on in his life. He did a lot of touring. He was touring right to the end. Yeah, just great. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. What a work of great storytelling, great songwriting. I'm a sucker for beautiful melody. You all know I'm a singer-songwriter, unless you're new. Yeah, just incredible. Anyway, so where do we want to go next? Let's go to, since we were talking about Putin, and in the tea leaves, I saw a massive buildup of military of NATO. Yeah, it was right there in the tea leaves. And so we'll see how that goes. Let's read about, oh, this just flipped over. This is about NATO. So I'm reading about what's going on with the war in Ukraine, and I do know that we're going to look at this. There was what the Kremlin is calling an assassination attempt on Putin. Yeah, like that's never happened, right? And they're blaming it. You're still doing the Gordon Lightfoot lyrics. It's great. So the Kremlin, like as if that's a reliable source, is saying that the Ukrainians were trying to assassinate Putin. Why would they do that if they knew the risk of retaliation? It doesn't even make sense that they would say that Ukraine would attempt an assassination on Putin's life. When the war first started, I said that I saw assassination attempts on Putin. I'd have to go back and look at the videos to see if I actually said that I saw him taken out. I think I did see him taken out. What I did see back then when the war first started was I saw the oligarchs getting together and trying to figure out a plan to oust him in some way. And I saw the military, mutiny in the military. And I saw the people rising up in rebellion. So, the drones were more like hobby type drones. I think that the Russians, I think the Kremlin, not the Russians, the Kremlin is trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes. And okay, is that what's going on? Are they actually just trying to... Were those drones, were they Russian drones? Were they like props? Were they Russian? It didn't even take the... Well, they weren't Russian props. That's interesting. Red flag. Wag the dog. The kind you get at Walmart. Okay. Stay on topic. Did the drones originate in Ukraine? No. Did they drop, what kind of drones were there? There was a $5 million bet from a UK. I don't know what you're talking about. Were the drones from a nation, another nation outside of Ukraine and Russia? No. One drone. Did it have a bomb or something? Loved Gordon Lightfoot. I feel like Gordon Lightfoot is really happy to be on the other side, actually. The drones were from Ukraine. I get that. I don't get that they were from Ukraine. Were the drones actually from Russia? Oh, now it's, yeah. All right. Big bottle drop on that one. If you're not normally with me, if you're new here, that's the bar next door. I don't know why they're so noisy. I should pay attention to when the bottle drop happens. It might be like a little bit of a, an omen. And I was just talking about the drones. I feel like the drones had their origin in Russia. But what I didn't get was that it was kind of like a ploy, like a Russian ploy. But I get that it was. Yeah, bottle drop could be an underscore, exactly. There's Kathy Beal. Now that she popped up, I want to remind you, or you might not know, the Spirit Talk podcast needs to be labeled. I need to label it better. We did a show. Why does that's a recycle bin. We did a show about the astrology that's happening now, and there's a lot of great political astrology in Spirit Talk podcast under the lives right here on my channel. So the drone just hit the flagpole. Okay, so what this looks like, I'm going to pull 3 cards about it, but what it looks like to me is that it looks like Russia's looking for an out. Putin's looking for an out. And I'm telling you what, I've seen pictures of Putin lately, and they're so different. I'm just asking it. Yeah, okay, the drone originated in Russia. The drones blew up. Is the Kremlin using this to justify another big strike on Ukraine? I'm getting that very strongly. The drones, Russia is, it's like it happened. I don't think it was planned. It happened, and somebody, like whoever's posing as Putin, it happened, and they were being opportunistic about it, and they thought, oh, okay, this will be a good way to say we need to fight back, because that's what they've been doing all along, because they justified attacking Ukraine from the beginning by saying that the Ukrainians are Nazis and that they're torturing people, and it's amazing how you can fool a population. Although I'm sure all the Russians aren't fooled, because President Zelensky is Jewish. We live in a crazy world. I'm telling you. Oh my gosh, it's 53 minutes and I have not done my commercial. It looked like no damage. They're using it. The guides are saying an errant drone. So they're using an errant drone that it feels like it came from Russia. But it wasn't planned, but then it was like, aha, we can use this. That's the kind of energy that I get around it. Anyhow, this is my commercial break. This is a lunar eclipse, full moon eclipse in Scorpio on Friday. I've been telling you all, it's a great time to get a reading. PsychicAnnetteDion.com. Thank you, Uptick. To book a reading on Saturday, there's still a few spaces left to jump in on the demystifying the pendulum. I think that's what I'm calling the class. Unraveling the mysteries of the pendulum. So that's on Saturday, and you can sign up on PsychicAnnetteDion.com. The classes are a lot of fun, so and very informative, and you get a recording of the class after the class, so you can use that information, whenever you want. So that's on Saturday. There's a new class, the spiritual approach to weight loss. We just finished up that class. We're starting a new one on May 13th. That's for 4 Saturdays. We do skip the Memorial Day weekend Saturday, though. Putin has a price on his head, I agree. Grassrootsofdemocracy.com is where you go to sign up to come to our meetings, where we are always actively engaged in doing tasks to save democracy. On Thursday is our discussion group. So grassrootsofdemocracy.com. Please check out Church of Spirituality if you need spiritual inspiration, if you need spiritual tools to get you through every week. There's always good music, there's always a great sermon, and it's my church that I started in December 2020. So I also have a radically forgiving, a new class coming up. I think that's on June. I don't want to tell you for sure, but I have a radically forgiving class coming up in June too. And that's my commercial break, and whenever I leave, I always go, I forgot to tell them about. So just go to my website, psychicandetdion.com. Also, Church of Spirituality has its own website now too. churchofspirituality.online. It's okay if you're late, Darren. I didn't take attendance. Wait, did you get a lot of snow? And here I am. I'm not going to complain that it's cold here anymore. I have no right. Let's look at Ron DeFascist. Because it's kind of fun. Whew. Are people waking up? Now the question is, how's he doing right now? I think he's back in the United States. What happened to my new song, Seasons of Life? Well, I'm working on it. You were the one with the title? I'm working on it. I'm actually working on getting a little bit of a sound system going so I can give you a concert soon. Yeah, they have snow. Yeah, I'm not finished with that song, but I have to revisit it and see what else it needs, but it's getting there. Thanks for reminding me, because sometimes I just forget that I'm working on a song. I'm always working on something in my head. Like most of us. Ron DeFascist. Distracted by DeFascist at the moment. Wow, I'm really grateful that we don't have snow here, because snow in May would just be, that would just weird me out. But with global climate change, erraticism, you just never know. Ron. Well, it looks like, I don't know what Trump is going to say about Ron, but I feel like Trump is going to say something that's going to knock Ron DeFascist right out of the race. You think it was in a side job? Yeah, thank you. Current topic, Ron DeFascist. Sometimes I'm so curious what you're talking about. Ron DeFascist. Ron De something head. I like it. It feels like Donald Trump is going to say something about him that just knocks him. I mean, the way that Trump thinks about everything is like a boxing match or a wrestling match, and so the way that Trump's brain is wired is what's the knockout punch going to be? Oh, you're an hour north of Nashville? Where are you? An hour north, and it's temperatures in the 80s? I have a friend coming up from Nashville. Ron to Satan makes you want to vomit. That's because evil does that. We'll talk about that. I feel like there's something coming out that I don't know what Trump is going to drop something about Ron DeFascist that's just going to end end Ron's aspirations to be in the White House. Oh, you're in Bowling Green. Oh, okay. The United States and Disney win over DeFascist. There's some kind of news coming up that's just going to destroy Ron DeFascist. And Trump has something to do with it. Wow, that's really rich with information there, with energy, in terms of like, wow, there's a lot going on there. Within the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying, believe me, I'm not saying Trump is at an advantage. I'm just seeing what the Trump has a knockout punch tactic. Yeah, but I think that Trump, being the horrible person that he is, and let them fight. I mean, honestly, I feel like Trump he has an ace in his pocket, and I just consider it like a knockout punch for Ron the fascist. Cheryl Clark is back. Haven't seen you in a while, I don't think. And I just see Ron out of the race. I see Ron doing this like deer in the headlights kind of thing that he does about all the problems that are happening in Florida, and what Ron DeFascist is going to be doing, as if he isn't already, he is already, but it's going to get more extreme, is he is going to continue to fight with Disney to say, I was thinking the other day about what Ron DeFascist says about Florida's where woke goes to die, and I kind of was like, with all these guns and everything, I wonder what he's really saying. But anyway, maybe Trump did something inappropriate with Ron. Yeah, but I don't think he would I don't think he would include himself in whatever this knockout punch is going to be, metaphorically speaking, to Ron DeSantis. But I see Ron DeSantis, well, I'll just call him that once in a while, I see him not helping the Floridians at all, just having, like, he's in his own soap opera drama and just doing all kinds of negative drama and really not paying attention to anybody in Florida who has a problem, like all his constituents. I'm pulling 3 cards about Ron. Feel free to put up questions that you want me to get to before the end of the 90 minutes. You need a do not disturb. You're watching Annette Dion on YouTube. I love it. Thank you. Please remember to click the like. Okay, so this is more about Ron, and the Emperor card keeps coming up. Judgment out in the cold. This is more about Mr. DeFascist. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Much appreciated. The Emperor is this feels like authorities coming down on Ron DeFascist, and the Judgment card, which is he's facing judgment. Will DC attain statehood? Yeah, I saw that a long time ago. I don't know when, but I read on that a long time ago. Puerto Rico's a little bit up in the air right now because, unfortunately all the island-like, places are going to be underwater, which includes parts of Florida. All right. Finally getting a little warm, which is good. What else? What else? Pinocchio. Marjorie Taylor Greene, perhaps. Definitely watch the Spirit Talk podcast. Feels good to be warm. Tea leaves. Thank you. I am going to read the tea leaves. Maine is flooded. Really? I don't think it flooded here. Can we democratize the Federal Reserve? There's a lot going on with the economy and of course, there's always a lot going on with the economy. Gosh, I'm trying to pick a topic. Which topic shall it be next? We have tea leaves to read. We read on Russia. Let's just read. I'm going to go back to the war in Ukraine. What can we expect to see? Because they're getting ready for a big, Ukraine's getting ready for a big spring offensive. Do we talk about Washington State new gun laws? I mentioned that that states are starting to move forward with gun laws. Definitely check out Spirit Talk podcast from yesterday. Kathy Beale, astrologer extraordinaire, gave us a lot of astrology, a lot of political astrology, we'll call it. Coffee Grounds. I've not ever read Coffee Grounds. Aging Carroll, I did read about that. Cheryl, you just showed up. Trump is going to totally lose that case. The debt ceiling. Oh no, wait. That's going down. Let's read on Ted Cruz. I told you he was going to get in trouble and he's going to be tied to the insurrection and all this incriminating stuff is coming out now. And you watch it, watch the Spirit Talk podcast. That's all it says, Spirit Talk podcast with Annette Dion. I don't do that here. I do it in the studio. So I have to get the guy who filmed it for us, who did the live stream in the studio, to put more in the description. I'm working on it. I need a staff. I do. I need a staff. So DeSantis has himself painted in the corner. Before I read on Ted Cruz, because that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to read on like Disney. Like how is this going to work out for Disney? This whole lawsuit. I actually think this is good for Disney. Cruz right into your jail. I think I did. We'll read on whether Cruz is going to jail. I have said several weeks ago that I saw Jack Smith onto him. Definitely saw that. Definitely saw Jack Smith onto Ted Cruz in one of the former readings. We're going to be happy. We're going to be happy. Cruz says we must confuse. Or are you a songwriter too? I always talk like that. I'm always rhyming words without even realizing it. This is people celebrate. Ted Cruz is very despised. Plus, I think his wife is going to divorce him in the not too distant future. So this is us being happy that he's in trouble and being held accountable. I think Cruz is going to lose his seat, and we did read on. We did look at the astrology on that, also. And Spirit Talk podcast from yesterday, right here on my channel under the live on YouTube. And the Queen of Wands. You know, it's funny because a lot of times Kamala Harris pops up in the readings when it's about somebody in government who's in big trouble. And Kamala was a prosecutor, right? She was an AG, I think. Speaking of AGs, let's read on Alvin Bragg. Ted Cruz is sweating bullets. He really is. He's not comfortable. I feel like Ted Cruz is beside himself, freaking out. I really do. It's really amazing. Truly. I actually think he has no idea what to do. I mean, he's just, talk about deer in the headlights. I feel like Cruz is just like, oh my God, just panicking. Almost time. Yes. In a nutshell, that's what I'm saying. Cruz is going down. Big time, far and fast. She was the Attorney General in California. Yeah. She has that background. So I've seen her when I read about Ted Cruz and a couple other people. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so the tea leaves. Very interesting. I have to kind of look and see and move them around and see what pops up. Okay. So, Cruz. Uh-oh, a card went flying. I think what I'm going to do is switch decks. Let's switch to Llewellyn. Ted Cruz. Yeah. Giuliani. Oh no, yeah, cards go flying. There's a lot of energy in this room. Alright. Alvin Bragg. We're kind of all over the map, but there's the lawsuits everywhere and criminals criming everywhere in our government. So That's why it seems like it's all over the map sometimes. So, Alvin Bragg, I think Trump's got to go back soon, right? Kamala did not prosecute Manchin, a total mystery to you in California. I need to know more about that. When you just reading that, like, I feel like something else took her attention away. Alvin Bragg, what's the status there with the Trump case? Truth! Alvin Bragg is balancing things out. Page of Swords coming for Trump. Coming for Trump. Maybe DeSantis is connected to Matt Gaetz. I've always seen that. And Jim Jordan. Will Trump return to the USA? Yeah, why wouldn't he? Mar-a-Lago. Oh, there's a writer's strike in Hollywood going on. Manchin was involved in the bad banking loans and got away scot-free. I feel like Kamala wasn't able to pursue that for some reason. When was that? So Alvin Bragg, Alvin Bragg is he's a really good chess player. I'll put it that way. He's keeping things balanced. Mara Moscow, yeah, that fits. Mnuchin, that's what I was like. Manchin, California, like what? Oh, Mnuchin, oh my gosh. Was it Steve Mnuchin? Is that his first name? He made my skin crawl. Oh, he's like a cartoon character villain, like most of them are. But Mnuchin, oh my gosh, everything about him, it was so criminal. I feel like Kamala was pulled away from that she couldn't prosecute Mnuchin for some reason. So many going down. Oh yeah. And if you watch the Spirit Talk podcast from yesterday, there's a lot. Yeah, Steve Mnuchin. Yeah, somebody was writing up their Manchin, and I was like, I'm confused enough with everything that's going on. No, I'm just kidding. So as far as Alvin Bragg, yeah, he's coming after Trump, but he's playing it really smart. Alvin Bragg is not doing anything without great attention to a great amount of detail when it comes to Trump. And the truth is going, this is like the Alvin Bragg, that whole situation there with Trump and Alvin Bragg and Manhattan is as clear in terms of the level of guilt on Trump's part, as clear as the E. Jean Carroll case. Yeah, crazy stuff. The debt ceiling. Oh, let's look at, I don't know whether to look at Kevin McCarthy specifically or the debt ceiling. Those are two, let's separate them out. What's going on with Kevin McCarthy right now? I want to know, I want a behind the scenes. Is Alvin Bragg an amazing chess player too? Like actual, like, because that's what I get. He's playing chess with Trump. And you know that Trump probably doesn't even have any idea how to play chess. Really. Not smart enough. The only thing Trump is smart at is conning and playing the judicial system. He has mastery with that. Okay, we'll read on Kevin McCarthy first. Marshmallow McCarthy, the Muffin Man. Can he be both? He's a marshmallow. And he's a hostage. And the guys just said, and he's in love with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know why I just got that. I won't go any further with that because I don't want to nauseate you. Anyway, I see Kevin McCarthy's feet being held to the fire. This is interesting. With Kevin McCarthy, I feel like it's going to become exceedingly, glaringly obvious what he's trying to do. Speaking of hostage, holding America hostage. There's something behind the scenes that will be revealed that will let everybody know why he is trying to stick it to the American people. We will know. And I talked about it the other night, and I even read you a list, and hopefully you've heard the list of what how the Republicans are holding not only the American people hostage, but the world. It's alright if you had a spelling error. Mnuchin isn't easy to spell. I don't think. So, just as far as Kevin McCarthy goes, it's being revealed. You know how we're finding out like new kind of behind the scenes information every single day? What's behind his holding the country hostage with this debt ceiling debacle will be revealed, and he's going to be hamana, like I call this a Jim Jordan. Hamana. Kathy, how long have you been with me? Because I have seen that. Oh, Carroll, you thought he was a man, but he's a muffin. I don't remember that song. By Frank Zappa? Is that what you said? I've several times said I see Hakeem Jeffries as speaker. Trump has a 10-year-old brain. Seriously, 10-year-olds are smarter than Trump. So, yeah, Frank Zappa, amazing. What a smart man. Cruz announced today he's going to run in 2024. People hate him. Talk about delusional. People hate Ted Cruz. No brain. Trump doesn't really have a brain. The only thing Trump is genius at, as I said, playing the legal system and conning. What is the pluses of America right now? Oh, well, we have to focus on those. That we can change, that we can turn this ship around. That's a plus of America, that we're capable of it. There's good people in America. Don't be fooled. So, as far as the debt ceiling, I do see it being raised. I see there's a card of celebration coming up again, which seems to point to revelations that mean democracy is going to win. Yeah, Trump, I was saying he's good at conning, right? Isn't that grifting, conning, right? I'm reading on McCarthy right now. And the McCarthy in regards to the debt ceiling, and the celebration card is coming up, which means we're going to find out details about what's behind the scenes. What is who is talking in his ear? It's going to be found out. And the debt ceiling will be raised, but I said about a month or so ago, it was going to go down to the very bitter end. Oh yeah, that makes sense, Sunshine, about narcissism. Narcissism is normal in a healthy childhood, because you have to figure out who you are by responding to the world around you like it's all about you. But then when somebody doesn't grow out of that phase, they're like, it's arrested development. Trump could sell a refrigerator to an Eskimo. I haven't heard that one in a long time. That sounds like a dad joke. I have one of those dads that has bad jokes. Some of them are really funny though. So Lisa is saying that she doesn't think Trump will come back to the United States. Do you really think oh, Toby's a dad. Do you have dad jokes? Was that a dad joke? I guess it was if you're a dad. Yeah, totally. It fits. If the shoe fits, right? Okay, so just in regards of will Trump come back to the United States, Lisa, what I want to ask is, he's coming back. How would you perceive that he would be able to sneak away? I mean, all eyes were on him, right? I don't see. I mean, if you have an idea, throw it up there how he could actually sneak away with nobody noticing. Once Putin is gone, the world will be a better place. True, and that's kind of what the cards seem to be pointing to. So that was about Kevin McCarthy, and now I'm going to read on, well, I just answered the question about the debt ceiling. It's going to be raised, but it's going to be last minute. I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to read more about the debt ceiling in terms of, like, will we have to give up stuff? Well, I'm really happy. It looks like my Wi-Fi is still working. Maybe they did fix some things. It didn't crash altogether. The debt ceiling. Okay. We will, in order to get the debt ceiling raised, we will have to give up. Joe Biden is going to have to do something. Agree to the lesser of the evils in terms of because what the fascists are proposing and holding the country hostage, what they're proposing will make lots and lots of people that are already in tough situations, including our veterans, it will make life a holy hell for them. So that's how evil and cruel they are. What I see here is it's gonna be hard. There will be some kind of compromise, the least amount given up. And we will have a journey away from difficulty, but what's happening is the Republicans they're burying themselves. The fascist Republicans are burying themselves. This is the worst possible thing they could do to this country. And they've done a lot of heinous things to this country, but this is the worst possible thing they could do for this country. And the universe card, you know, the universe has our back. It's going to be, we're going to have to crawl back. We're going to have to crawl back. But I do see the debt ceiling being raised, and it's going to be a very defining time. Very defining time. No, vets won't be left out. I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm pointing to that I see one concession. I see one concession, and we're not going to like it, but it's not going to be like the whole everything crashes. Sneak away, arrested for international money. I can't really do a poll since I'm doing this, but who thinks ask my pendulum what, Linda? Yeah, I need an actual question. Yeah, I'm not clear about the question you want me to ask. You're saying arrested for international money laundering. I'm not clear. Oh, anyway, the teacup is ready to be read. I'm going to do this with my little makeshift magic wand. It seems that we have Venus. Oh yeah, we haven't talked about the abortion bans. But the debt ceiling not being, I didn't say it wasn't going to be raised. Oh. Yeah, well, let's think positive. Trump went to Scotland to open a stupid golf course. No, Trump went to Scotland to detract attention away from the E. Carroll thing. Let's be real. It's Trump we're talking about here. The sign of Venus, which signifies women, I see a case coming to light where a woman who dies because of not being able to receive health care there's a spotlight on that situation. This isn't something that we know about right now. I don't think we know about this person. I see a story coming out in the news about a woman who actually dies because she can't receive health care. And that's gonna create a deluge of energy of people like really angry and really protesting. Republicans want to see Biden fail. Truer words are hardly ever spoken. And there's going to be some fallout from those that abortion ban situation. I see a story of a woman that dies from her lack of being able to access women's health care. It's just amazing. And a whole stream of events comes from that changes. I feel like I'll show this to you, but you're not going to see what I'm seeing. But it helps you to see pictures to look at it from here. That's kind of cool. So I see that, and then in the position of the sun, I feel like right around June, right around summer solstice, there's a major event that has to do with the sun, like solar flares. Right around the time that the weather starts getting warmer, I see a big solar flare event coming. It's going to challenge our cyberspace situation. It's going to challenge our technology. I see that we'll come out of it. Also, in the position, there's a card here that indicates a snake. This is we can think of many people that fit. Hey, Bond Blue. We can think of many people that fit into that category of being snake-like. I'm seeing the Supreme Court. I'm actually seeing I'm seeing 3 people in the Supreme Court being demanded to leave. That's coming up within the next month. I just see calls that okay, it's time for you to step down. Trump is nice and chilly, cold and rainy in Scotland right now. Did you see him? Did you see him with the stupid wool hat on? It looked kind of ridiculous. All right, so here's where I go to my little book, because I haven't used this cup in a while, and I have to just refresh my memory on a couple of symbols. And okay, an important time for goals, and okay, expect positive developments. Okay, so in this position where the diamond is, this is actually pointing to a win for Joe Biden. Something good is going to happen. June, SCOTUS. Kathy's reminding me of what she talked about. Yes, okay. Yeah, I see 3 justices being like it's just so glaring that people are just like, you need to step down. I'm not sure which 3 they are. Let me see if the guides give me, I see Kavanaugh. When's that movie coming out about Kavanaugh? Gotta find that. Roberts, I think, and something's going to happen with Alito. Oh, June is Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, and I feel like right around the summer solstice, there's a lot coming down around the Supreme Court. It's going to be clear and clear as day. So look for a lot of movement on the women's rights front. That feels like it's going to happen really soon. There will be a standout case where people are like, no, this is not happening. This has got to change. So lots of calls for big changes around women's rights. What else do we see here? That's mainly what I see. I see a big arrow I just feel like the guides are like, come on, I see a big arrow at the bottom of the cup. Come on, like, let's move, let's get some motivation going. I just feel like that is happening. I see definitely youthful energy rising up. I really want to encourage everybody to take good care of yourself so you feel like being involved. Lots of protesting, that's what I see. Lots of protesting. It's actually going to, what I'm speaking to is it's going to invigorate a lot of people. this energy that's coming in is going to invigorate a lot of people. Case in point, when the Tennessee 3, when that whole debacle was going on, don't think it stopped going on, because it hasn't stopped going on. June 30th is the end of the court's term. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, keep an eye on that. I didn't know that. Aquarius and Pluto for now, community. Okay, that makes, so this is all lining up. Okay, so yeah, I see lots of protests. Think about like the two Justins in Tennessee, divinely guided individuals. Those types of people. Hakeem Jeffries has it too. I mean, those types of people, and there's a lot that I can think of. When they get up there and they're speaking their truth and they're doing the right thing, and they have that sort of that positive, that divinely inspired sort of, I hate to use the word charismatic because it's not what I mean. I mean in a really positive way. Really inspiring. I see a lot of inspired people. And when one person is inspiring, it kind of, it's like that song I've quoted before, it only takes a spark to get a fire going. There's a lot of momentum that's going to be building. And I think that Joe Biden has something to do with that. And I just want to point out that when the Republicans are trying to stick it to the Democrats, people don't like that. In general, people don't like that. Their light's shining. Yeah, their light's shining. People don't like I've mentioned before, when the Republicans needed to go ahead and impeach Bill Clinton for this, his sexual escapade. People didn't like that. They didn't want that brought in. Like, we don't need to be talking about sex. We need to be talking about the problems at hand. Anyway, whatever was going on there. People didn't like that the Republicans diverted their attention to go after Bill Clinton for an illicit thing that he did sexually. And it made the Republicans less popular. Yeah, when's that movie about? Is that movie about Jim Jordan coming out? People seem to not know the release dates. And then there's that strike going on, that writer's strike that might affect movie releases, but I don't really know about that industry. So I see a time that Joe Biden's looking like, it's not peaches and cream, but just looking pretty good. And if you look at this, if you want to read this, I mean, I kind of see a rabbit. It's a year of the rabbit. This is, which is fitting, because the year of the rabbit's about fertility and abundance. I know, I'm asking about the Brett Kavanaugh movie, and then there's a movie about Jim Jordan, and they haven't been in the news lately. Anyhow, with the teacup, the year of the peep. I'm going to make some marshmallow Rice Krispie treats tonight, I think. So, the year of the rabbit is very fitting, because there's so much going on. Damon, you waited till the end of the show to show up. Merrick Garland be replaced next Biden term? I don't think so. I think Merrick Garland is hard at work. Even though, I mean, like, think about when you think of Merrick Garland. Let's look at it this way. Remember how mad everyone was at Alvin Bragg? It wasn't like he wasn't doing anything. He was working on lining it up, so there was no way that this case would lose against Trump, right? Mercury out of retrograde June. Mercury's out of retrograde on May 14th. Is that what you meant? Anyhow, before I go, I will pick 3 cards to get us through to Friday. Remember, I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live streamed, or you can always watch it afterwards. Please go to psychicannetdion.com to book your reading, especially before the eclipse happens, or right after. The Jim Jordan thing will be on HBO. No date yet. 3 cards to tie us over till, oh my gosh, speaking of over, tie us over to Friday for Friday Night Live. Book a reading with me. Tons of information. Really, I'm telling you, you will get tons of information. I'm just the channel. What days and times for Spirit Talk? Well, we're not really, we've been using the same schedule, but I don't know, maybe I'll stick to that schedule. But it's recorded and you can see it on, it was recorded live, but it's posted. What will I be flushing down the toilet on Friday? Yeah, I know. We started, Kathy the astrologer said, you flush everything down the toilet that you no longer need. And I said, literally? I like to burn things. I like to burn things that I want to, get rid of or bury them or, write them down on a piece of paper and get rid of them like that. It's a good ritual. But that's the way Kathy put it. This full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio has to do with, endings too. And it's a very psychic sign, so good time to get a reading. It's always a good time to get a reading. So to tie us over until Friday, I want you to know that a lot more, we won't even be able to keep up with how much we're being stolen from. How much criming is going on in our government with the fascists. They're literally stealing from us. I say that all the time. The horned one in the Llewellyn deck is the devil card. So we're going to see all this deception. And I didn't talk too much about Abbott, and we'll save that for Friday. But if you want to know what evil is evil incarnate is Greg Abbott. Evil incarnate is Vladimir Putin. Evil incarnate is Trump, although he has an ability to hide it more than some of the others. Ron DeFascist. If you flush stuff in your toilet, you're going to follow what Trump does. Yeah, Trump flushes secret documents down the toilet. So yeah, it's we are seeing manifestations of the demonic on the physical plane. So we'll be seeing more of that. The Temperance card is hold steady. It's so, if you've never practiced mindfulness or meditating in your whole entire life, if you just never have, now is the time. Everybody needs to find ways and techniques to just bring it down, get grounded. When the weather gets warmer, or maybe it's warm where you are, you can put your bare feet in the earth and the sand. Get grounded. Find a way to find your center. We're all picking up stuff from everybody else too. Imagine yourself in a bubble of light. But these are times that we need these tools. You don't want to go crazy. You have to kind of step back and take a reprise and exhale, right? I love you too, and I'm glad that you enjoyed being here, because I enjoyed being here with you, and this show wouldn't be possible without you. Keep the faith. We're all hanging in here together with everything that's going on, and it's gonna get better, I promise. All right, namaste. See you Friday or before. Come to Grassroots of Democracy. We meet on Thursdays. Bye. Thank you. Thanks, Damon.